Hey, welcome to Guitar Knobs, the guitars, gear, noise, and nonsense podcast, hosted today by these knobs.
Tony Dudzik, Pick Guardian.
Jared Brandon Won't Pickups.
Hey, it's me, Todd Novak. We are thrilled to death that you are listening to our little show called The Guitar Knobs Podcast, where we interview boutique builders of pedals and gear and amps and all kinds of guitar ephemera. And sometimes we don't interview and we just have nice chats amongst ourselves. But in this case, we are having an interview and we've got somebody very special on the line.
Chad Jennings with Jennings Guitars.
That is correct. You win.
That's it.
That's the right answer. And where are you calling in from, Chad?
I'm calling in from Ventura, California right
Excellent.
now.
All right. So, hey, everybody who is listening right now, unless you're driving, don't do this. But if you can, go to your nearest mobile phone or computer and look up Jennings Guitar Co. on Instagram or JenningsGuitars.com on the web and feast your eyes on the beautiful pieces of wood and metal that make up guitars made by Mr. Jennings. Yeah, quite a few. A lot of good eye candy, good everybody. Stuff. And you can head on over to Reverb if you're interested in seeing how much you can pick one of these up for, too.
Not much.
So.
Not much.
Dudes, lots going on. But I want to announce to everyone, and hopefully by this time you've heard this, you were well aware of it, because I probably would have posted a few I just said it. We're on Spotify.
Yay!
Hey! Long time coming. That is quite an ordeal to get approved on Spotify. It's not just like all the other ones. So I don't know why, but man, I'm glad we're up there. So if you're like me and you listen to Spotify like 24/7, then now you can have us 24/7 there too. I believe that the episodes go back about 20 episodes. So if you need to go further back, which I suggest you do because there's lots of good ones.
Like me.
Yeah, like you. And like Tony.
Like me.
You can hear their individual initial podcasts that we did with them, their interviews. Anyways, so those are on Spotify. Look up The Guitar Knobs and you will find us. If you are able to, if you want to go back, like I said, you can go to our website, theguitarknobs.com. We have all of our episodes there. I believe on Stitcher 2, you can have the full episode list. On iTunes, again, no, you cannot. I think they only go back 20 as well there too. So anyways, we're not going to charge you for those old ones because we don't charge you for the new ones.
That's right.
Alrighty then. We've got some awesome stuff happening in our guitar worlds this week. Tony, what's happening in your guitar world this week?
Gosh, this week I'm just scrambling, because I've got to get 5 days of work into 3.
Mm-hmm.
How do you do that? Can you tell me that, Todd?
I was nonstop myself.
Yeah, anyhow, we had the Columbus Guitar Show. There were some cool things that I saw. There were, unfortunately, I think the Columbus show is getting kind of the reputation for, the what I call the under $500 crowd. But
yeah,
there were some. It's always nice.
Explain that a little bit, Tony.
Well, I think that if you go to a bigger city show or a bigger show, period, there's a lot more vintage. There's a lot more higher end, higher ticket items. And I think in the Columbus show, most of the dealers that I see, they don't bring as much of the real vintage stuff. There's a lot more mid-grade, player grade, and a lot of beginner guitars. So I think that's at least stuff that I bring to the show to sell. Yeah. I keep that in mind, although I did bring some higher end pieces this time. But, I look at it as a way to get to talk to people. And there were a lot of people that listened to the Guitar Knobs, a lot of customers that I had locally, and some came in from out of town, I think. And so it's always nice to, face-to-face meetings with your customer base and potential customer base, people that... there was a Gary Goodman
and son
were
there.
So that was cool to see them and meet them in person. And, that's the kind of thing, I think in all of our businesses, when you're involved in the musical community like that, it almost requires it. You can't just be some robot out there filling orders. I think you have to
we're real people.
We're real.
You got to show face.
Let's explain just really quick. We all just said Gary Goodman, like everybody knows who Gary Goodman is. Gary, as nice of a guy as you are, I don't know that you're internet famous yet.
Oh yeah, he is.
Is he?
As of right now,
He might be.
He is just
Gary.
he's trending right now. As
Gary
we speak.
is one of our patrons, and it was just really great to meet him and his son too. And they've got a great story. So go back and listen to the one that we talked about.
Yeah.
I think it's actually marked in the episodes. It was his dedicated show. And so, anyways, let's see, Chad. What's going on in your world this week, man?
Man, I'm just getting ready to take a vacation. You know, we work like crazy, but we're trying to fill orders. We got some guitars going out to the UK to James's home of tone. James is an awesome retailer, and we've been excited to work with him. But we just finally finished his guitars, and those are going out. Trying to play catch up on a bunch of orders that we have, and it's just madness. You know, guitar building's a lot of fun, but it's pretty hard, for lack of better words. And
kind of one of those when it rains, it pours, and
it sure seems like it. Or like when you want to take a vacation, it just hails. You know, so it's fun. Everything's going well, but man, you know, I think the biggest thing I wish we could speed up is painting. You know, we're using nitro, and you coat for a few days, and you got to let it sit for a week to 2 weeks, depending on how you painted, and then you got to move forwards from that. But you know,
you should just do everything in true oil.
Yeah, you know, or no finish at all. Maybe we can start trending that satin no finish guitars. How about that?
Finish it yourself.
Well, that's one of the problems that our friend Chase has. You know, it gets so humid out here, and he's painting in a building that isn't air conditioned or humidified. Yeah. And so you know, he's a small builder. He's trying to do the best he can, and his guitars are beautiful. But man, it's like, stop the presses. If it's a nice day, he's got to go out and shoot the heck out of everything. So
totally. Yeah, I get that. I guess my bigger role is doing paint, and then we got Devin who helping out big time in a lot of the manufacturing, and I'll jump in on manufacturing as well. But it's fun, man. I go to work every day super stoked just to get sweaty and dusty and occasionally bloody.
Yeah, keep the tetanus at hand. Hey, Jared.
Yeah.
What's going on in your music world this week, bud?
Well, Tony kind of prefaced what I was going to talk about.
I stole your thunder, didn't I?
Yeah, not really. You kind of set it up because I wanted to specifically talk about some items at the guitar show. I had a drum set, a clear Zikos drum set, and I had a 10-inch tom, two 12-inch toms, a 16-inch floor tom, an 18-inch
all the
floor
drums,
tom.
Tommy.
All the drums, Tommy. So I had them all. I had a long cannon of a bass drum, and
did you have any cymbals with that?
I kept my cymbals because.
How about stands?
And I have the stands at another place. It's being sold by a friend of mine.
Any sticks?
I'm keeping those.
Okay, just checking.
For the
dogs.
The dogs. And anyway, so the drum set sat there for the majority of the show.
Yep.
And right as I got one of my guys to go bring my truck around for them to load up the drum set, because I was gonna, have my friend sell them in his shop. I saw the guy who said, I might want to trade for those. And I thought, I would rather just get something else I can sell rather than try to sell these drums. Get something easier to sell. So I said, Ed, what do you got? And he brought this other guy with a 1972 MPEG V2, all original except for one power tube.
What year?
1972 or 71. I don't remember. One of the two.
Okay.
Also a Harmony. No, it's a K guitar. It's got one pickup at the neck. It's kind of like a jazz acoustic-y thing. It's really cool now.
It's a sweet little guitar.
Yeah, it's
fun.
a Sears
and it's in
Roebuck
great
special,
shape for being a 50s guitar. Original.
The neck was reset. It was black lighted, and right around the neck, you can tell that it was reset at one time. I've seen other ones that have terrible action, so I'm convinced it was taken care of, which is a good thing.
Yeah,
it's a real player.
$500 less for you.
Exactly. And the last but not least, the guy had a Morley Ottawa from the 70s. I mean, it's just chrome all over the place.
Oh,
you can use the thing
That's
as a
a
mirror.
huge thing with its own actual AC/DC power supply.
Yep. So for two original pre-roll speakers, greenbacks with replaced cones, which will really drive the price way down, and all the drums, I got those 3 items I just described.
Well, that was a little ballsy of you to take an amp that
You didn't even
didn't
plug
even
it
plug it
in.
in or hear.
A 71.
When you're there at the show,
That thing was at least 75 pounds. Like, I watched that guy haul that thing around.
Oh,
and
yeah.
all of us were like, oh my God.
He was like
Leaning to
he
one
took
side.
the whole drum kit in one fell swoop.
Yeah.
After
I got to
hauling
tell
that
you
thing.
though, it looked a lot more appealing than hauling them drums up to Fremont, Ohio.
Yeah, I get
Yeah.
it. You know, so here's the funny thing, and I don't know if you know this aspect of the story, but when you were gone walking around, he and his crew came up, and he had that big head, and he said, "Hey, whose drums are these?" And we said, "Oh, he's walking around." He's like, "You think he'd trade us for this head?" And Zach and I both looked at him and we're like, "I don't think so," because it was just a head by itself, and we were like, "He's got like 15 amps already." And I don't think
About 6.
15. And so we both concluded, we both kept checking on each other, just like, is there a possibility? And we're like, no, there's no way he's going to trade that. So then he went on his way, and then you and this fella showed up back at the thing, and Zach and I both looked at each other like, oops. And I felt bad because I was like, look, we weren't trying to steer you away from the deal. Like, we legitimately thought that there's no way.
I would have hesitated on the amp head. I mean, no matter how you slice it, you'll have to put a little money into it.
Of course.
And hopefully it's nothing too serious. But
yeah, but you got some guitar stuff instead of some drum stuff, because we don't care about drum stuff.
I wasn't
on the
really
Guitar Knobs
invested in the
podcast.
drums, and I just didn't want to deal with the drums anymore.
Yeah.
So
They were so cool, though.
You could have brought me an ice
man.
cream cone in 100-degree weather, and I would have took the ice cream.
yes.
Well, keep that in mind, everybody. Next time you go to a show, just make sure Jared looks uncomfortable and make him a deal.
How about you, Todd? What's going on, man?
Well, I'm going to go for the I'll take guitar show for 100.
There it is.
I hauled out my beloved Gibson. It was beloved. I love that thing.
Oft spoken of.
My Gibson Explorer in Olympic white that had become nicotine yellow. It was beautiful. I had dealers crawling all over that thing, and it was sitting in its beautiful, big, ginormous
Aircraft carrier case.
Yeah,
We talked about it when you got it.
Yeah, the brown Victoria's Secret case. Well, it's Victoria's Secret. It's all pink inside. Oh.
Fuzzy pink.
And like 5 or 6 people played it. Like it was getting tons of attention.
Yeah.
And I wanted a specific number, and the dealers, I do feel good, because the first time I brought that, so I brought it up $250 more than what they were originally offering the first time around. But it went to somebody that I like, that I think has a really good presence at the show, and he's got fantastic guitars. That's Rick.
Oh, you did sell it.
I sold to Rick.
Oh, okay.
I think he broke a guitar after that.
He actually broke a Firebird headstock in 3 places on accident, because he didn't lock the it was one of those extra tall stands,
and he didn't lock the
it.
stand. Now the Explorer, we talked about that on a podcast.
Yeah, when I got it.
And you traded a guitar that was worth a lot less than that Explorer.
I did. I made out pretty good. I'm not gonna lie.
Good for you.
$400, $500.
Yeah.
But one thing, I mean, that also raises the point that if you do go to a guitar show and you want to sell something, you can't expect retail or top dollar for things.
No, you can't.
Dealers, especially if you're going to go to a dealer, because a dealer has to make some money on that.
Yeah,
there's got to.
I mean, he'll
bone.
for sure turn around and sell it for at least $400 to $500 more than what he paid me for. But that said, I still made out well. I'm happy. I got to play it. I got to own it. It was cool. Maybe I'll get another one someday, but right now selling it was more important.
Yeah.
And it's also worth pointing out, if you do go to a guitar show, bring somebody you trust. And here's the whole thing. I kept getting these numbers, and I was asking the people that I trust, Jared and Tony and Zach and Buford T. Justice.
That's right.
And it's good to have people who are backing you up. And honestly, if you see something at a guitar show that you really like at one vendor, it's if you see somebody else who you think might know about the stuff or has similar stuff, just ask them. Everybody's really great about talking about these things, and everybody's very open. There's not a bunch of horse shenanigans.
Don't be
going
like
on.
me and blindly trade for an amp.
Yeah, honestly, don't do that.
I was excited just to get rid of the drums.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Yeah. So anyways,
Enough about the guitar show.
Enough about the guitar show. Let's talk about
1, 2, 3. 4 on the floor.
All right, Chad, hit us. What's your 4 on the floor?
4 on the floor. We've got the Matthews Effects Surgeon.
Okay.
Nice.
Coming at number 1. It's a delay pedal, for those who don't know. It's very complex and a bit overwhelming if you don't know how to use it, but the ambient tones you get out of it are insane. So on the pedal, the knobs read dose, pulse, rain, and then mutation. And good luck translating that. It's all on his website, but
right.
It's really unreal with the stuff you get from it. I'm very simple type of player. I like the more straightforward tones, but I find that some of the overlapping delays that this pedal has, I definitely love to use it for little effects and little pieces that I'll
Do you use any
play,
other
stuff like that?
You said you use it for little stuff. Do you normally is delay like a constant thing for you? Is like do you always use delay?
Delay for me, if it's clean, is pretty much always on.
Okay.
And then if I'm playing driven, usually I'll click the delay off and just go straight tube amp overdrive.
Right.
That's why I like it.
Okay, cool. And is that a recent purchase?
It's somewhat recent. We connected with Rick Matthews over at Matthews Effects for NAMM. He had one of our guitars, and we built a Matthews pedal board to have at our NAMM booth last winter.
Oh, awesome!
So
that's super cool. We had him on. Almost. I guess would have been this time last year, maybe.
I think so. Yeah,
It was right about here in the last time. So if you want to listen to the Matthews Effects podcast, you can go check that out over at. No, not at Spotify. It's too far back. Yeah. But you can go to our website and check that out. It's a good one. He's a super nice cat.
I met him at NAMM last year too. So.
Yeah. And NAMM.
At NAMM?
When you were in Vietnam.
I always say NAMM. I'm ex-military.
We all do.
Yeah. What do you got for number 2?
Yeah. Number 2 is the Cosmonaut from Matthews. Just a reverb pedal. Again, some Matthews stuff is over the top for how I play, but I definitely like the combinations of the Surgeon and the Cosmonaut. Just very ambient, overlappy, I don't know, for lack of better words, like slap echo type stuff with all sorts of crazy modulation in it. So I don't know. Those are my 2.
Which one did you get first?
I got both of them at the same time because remember we built the board for NAMM.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah, so
are they like special edition or anything? I know he does. He tends to do like some that have special art editions, or if they're straightforward, then that's cool too. Those work just as well.
I got serial numbers.
No, that's fine.
No, they're nothing over the top.
Okay,
special.
So
the great pedals
with that reverb. Are you like a big shimmery reverb guy, or you like to just kind of let it roll in the back, or?
I like to let it roll in the back, and then again, I use the Surgeon to kind of shimmer and create some extra dimension within my playing. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so what do you have for number 3?
It would be the JHS Tank Reverb. Again, I do love reverb. I leave this one clicked on. It has like a reverb stacking. It's a double switch pedal, so you can kind of stack reverbs or switch between 2 different reverb setups within the pedal, which is really cool. I love it for the treble knob that's on it. it really adds a lot to the guitar's tone and the amp's tone. And every time I click the pedal off, I'm like, wait, where did my tone go? So big props to Josh for coming up with something that, I don't know, it's a tone box. It just sounds awesome. And I just kind of click that guy on and let it run.
Cool.
Yeah.
Is that something that's been on your board for a long time?
No, we connected with Josh for NAMM as well, so we sent him out a guitar and he had our guitar at his NAMM booth, and people loved it. And so it's been pretty recent. So I've had that guy.
Out of curiosity, how does that work? I mean, who contacts who?
Depends on who's in need more, know?
No, I'm just wondering because, so you had your guitars at 2 booths at NAMM. I mean, did you approach them or did they approach you?
We approached them because we were wanting to cross market with them the best that we could and get our guitars out there.
Yeah, definitely.
So, every company you talk with or work with, they have a different policy and philosophy of how to do it. And our biggest thing is we just want guitars out there for people to play them. So that helped us big time having stuff at JHS and at Matthews.
Yeah, for sure. Those are two top players out there for sure. Big visibility. That was great.
Yeah.
Good idea.
I love how diverse Josh and JHS and Matthews effects are. They're just very different genres, for lack of better words. So
yeah,
that's cool to have both of those.
Definitely. 2 big players out there repping your guitars.
Yeah.
That's rad. What do you got for number 4?
We're doing the JHS Morning Glory.
Oh man, I love that pedal.
Yep.
It's one that I've always. When I say I love that pedal, I haven't owned that pedal. I've played that pedal, and I want that pedal someday.
How can you love something you've never had?
Because I heard it, and I enjoyed playing it, and also one of my favorite guitar players plays it, Billy Duffy.
I hope it
That's
doesn't
one of his main things. Yeah. So, anyways, back to the Chad Jennings interview.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Does the pedal remind you of your mother?
Yeah. Tell me more about your childhood.
My childhood, eh?
Yeah. Tell us about the Morning Glory there, bud.
It's just a great pedal. It's a lighter overdrive. I use it mainly to boost my tube amp a little bit, and I use it as kind of a tone box as well. You kind of just click it on and get kind of your bass tone and play through. I love playing with the dynamics of an overdriven amp, and the Morning Glory, I think, really has great abilities to help push the amp in ways that the amp is not necessarily set up to do on its own.
Yeah, without overly coloring.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's great to just click it on and know that everything I just had is still there.
Yeah, for sure.
What amp are you using?
I was just going to ask him that.
I beat you to it.
You did.
What amp are you using then?
The one I'm mainly playing with is a Benson Monarch.
Yeah.
Have you guys played any of those?
Well, he was also a guest on our show.
You could go back to the Benson.
Really?
Benson interview. Welcome to do that.
Really
over
cool
our
amps.
podcast, theguitarknobs.com.
Yeah, very cool amps.
Yep.
I'm actually. You guys are going to roll your eyes. I started amp shopping again a little bit.
Oh my god.
Look no further. Buy a Benson.
Someday, again, I got a big list of somedays. Yeah,
We shall see.
Anyhow,
Don't we all?
Did you do any kind of a special like accoutrement to the actual amp itself, or was it just a stock amp?
Well, as a woody guy, a woodworker, we got ours in walnut, so solid walnut all the way around.
Nice.
Kind of matches the theme of our little showroom office space at the shop, and I'm a sucker for wood.
Yeah, walnut is just beautiful wood.
Sure is.
It really is. I mean, it actually sounds good too.
Yeah.
And as far as a guitar.
Yeah.
It's unfortunately not used very much. I know Rickenbacker smashes it in together with Maple on some of its models. Within the last couple of years, they did a walnut series where they used primarily walnut in the guitars. So, yeah.
Interesting.
There you go. Good
we
times.
do have a walnut build coming up. So, guys should stay posted for that.
Well.
We're going to be...
Yeah, will you do this?
Who's the buyer on
a
that?
favor and put that up so that the Facebook group can check that out?
Heck yeah. We're still a few months out on it, but it's in the process.
Cool.
Curly walnut is what we're doing on the top.
Oh, nice. Now, is walnut, does it grow out in California? Because I know it's a pretty
There's
common
an area
wood
called
here.
Walnut Grove.
Well, there you go. That's probably where you go.
There's Walnut Grove.
I think they grow fast cars
grow.
and pretty women there, though, and lots of money. Actually, money grows on trees in Walnut Grove, quite literally.
On the walnut trees. On the walnut trees. It does grow in California, mainly on groves. I don't know of any accounts where it has grown naturally in California, but I could be wrong. My knowledge base on the growth of walnut is not that great. But I definitely.
How about studying up next time before prep up?
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
The larch.
Yes.
The walnut here is like
weed trees,
dandelions, and seagulls in California. It's crazy.
No way.
Oh,
are they big or are they just little shrub brush type?
They're huge.
Giant
and
trees.
Really? They are they're almost, I mean, quite frankly, it is like a weed. And if you have a yard in Ohio, you have a walnut tree. A fair amount of time. What you don't want to do is just let them go, because then you're going to have walnut trees growing all over the dang place.
You can't mow them over because they just replant themselves. And
they've got those giant, like black walnuts have those. Today on the Walnut podcast.
Right. Well, I mean, it is kind of interesting. Like if you go to one of our metro parks, it's like you actually have to be a little careful. Don't look up. Like literally, don't look up, because you get a walnut smashed in your face. Because the big giant walnut, and I don't mean the kind that you crack for Christmas. The ones that are in the husk, they're like tennis balls, and then
pointy
tennis balls, pointy baseballs, really.
Yeah,
they just fall. They're all over the place.
Yeah, take a mitt when you go in the park.
Good idea, Jared.
So you're telling me I need to take a road trip up there with a big truck and a portable sawmill.
Dude. And, legitimately.
Then drive back to California.
Absolutely. I'm sure you could find a boatload of it out here.
Yeah.
People just give you.
Yeah, take this, please. Anyways,
that is crazy.
That is a lot about walnuts. Sorry, everybody. Wow.
Next, we'll talk about swamp ash.
No, I don't want to talk about swamp ash unless it's on a Jennings guitar. So let's get to you, my man. Chad and I have been talking recently. We struck up a conversation on the old Instagram, because he's got a great presence and he's showing off some beautiful work. And so we had to get him on. You're a relatively young builder as far as guitars go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how long have you been doing this?
Started at 14. I'm 26 now.
You started
going on 12 years off and on.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're a young builder, but not young in years building. Haha.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Did you sit in school and just design guitars during math class when you were 14?
Were you I was doing that. Kind of the way it came about is I've always been one to tinker and build things. Mm-hmm. So I remember, if anyone knows woodworking, we had an old Shopsmith, which is like basically a woodworking multi-power tool thing. You could do like table saw, bandsaw. We had one of those, and I remember making like Pinewood Derby cars on it, and then I would make RC cars. And then 8th grade comes around, I had a science fair project to build a guitar or build something or explain a process. And I was like, Dad, I want to build a rubber band string guitar. And then I remember sitting in class one day, I'm like, dude, I hate these school projects where we put so much energy and time into making something and throw it away at the end of the project. I was like, Dad, I want to build an actual electric guitar. And he's like, all right. So
cool.
We set out and got the tools working, and I was blessed enough to have my dad help me fund the project, and I actually built an electric guitar at 14 for a science project in 8th grade.
You still have it?
I still have it, and it still plays. Truss rod doesn't really work. Fret work was interesting, but it was made out of a 30-year-old piece of mahogany, so it actually sounded great. It was, if you can imagine, a Gibson SG that's almost 2 inches thick. That was my guitar.
That's actually probably how it should have been built, because then it wouldn't go headstock to the floor.
Right.
Yep.
But
sounds like an improvement in my mind.
Yeah, I remember I had a Gibson SG at the time, and I love the guitar, but American made, and I kept playing the one that I made more because I liked the tone of it. Now, obviously, the frets were all wonky, so that part wasn't enjoyable, but the overall tone of the instrument was way better than the Gibson SG that I had. And then it kind of kickstarts the thought process in my mind. I'm like, oh, if I change the nut, what happens? If I change the bodywood, what happens? And it's just a spiraling thing that just feeds on itself, just like all you guys and why we're all here.
Sure, yeah.
So I just just was hooked, and then from then I would build some guys little projects here and there, do a lot of woodworking. And what was it? My freshman year of college, Devin Murdoch, who works with me now, asked me if I could build him a bass. And I was like, shoot, let's do it. And then a few more buddies wanted instruments, and then it just kept rolling and growing, and you do repair work with it, and that's kind of how we got started.
So the story here is, everybody out there who has listened to all of our interviews, if you find somebody who is just starting to build anything, go to them and say, I want one, and essentially you'll get something that's made by them, who will ultimately become super famous and rich and well known for almost nothing.
Exactly.
That's the way to do it. Get them guitars on the do that. Everybody go out and find somebody that's making something and say, hey, I'd like one of those, and I'll support you. That'll be that's my payment. I don't know how that works for you, but anyways. So cool.
Yeah.
How did you, what got you into guitars in the first place?
I remember my dad played guitar growing up. He played a lot of Eagles songs, or like we'd go to church and he'd play some stuff there, just little stuff. And then, you come to middle school and everyone's listening to variations of rock music. And I'm just like, I can do that. My dad's got a guitar. So I picked it up, and then, sure enough, got hooked. And then shortly after, I was like, shoot, I love playing. Why can't I build one? Mm-hmm. That's kind of how the snowball started.
Excellent. Where was that? Okay. So let's get to your, you built your first guitar, then you started making them for other people. Did you have other guitar? Do you remember like the first guitar you actually had?
Commandeered guitar?
You're not one that you made, but like, the first guitar that you got with your own, that was yours.
Yeah. Like for Christmas or birthday or whatever.
Yeah.
It was the Gibson SG I talked about earlier. That was my first guitar.
Oh, okay.
But prior to that,
I have for your first guitar. Sheesh.
Yeah.
Well, I started on a Yamaha electric Costco guitar that my dad had, that later was turned into a project and then later thrown in the trash can. But I would say Gibson SG was my first one. So
was it a faded or a standard, or?
Was it their specials that were like the wine red or cherry red that had the dots, but it wasn't the faded ones?
Yeah. Did it have P90s?
No, this one had Buckers on it.
Buckers, okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jared is a catalog of SGs. Like if you have an SG question, ask Jared. Basically,
it's useless information.
Really? Okay.
Most of the time.
What does SG
It's useless to me because I don't
Solid
like 'em.
guitar.
Are you sure about that?
I don't know.
Yes. Okay. Anyways, that's a different podcast, the SG podcast. And so, anyways, okay. So let's get moving forward on your story. So you, at some point in time, you were building a few, and you started saying, "Hey, I like this." And then what was it? What was the step into saying, "I think I'm gonna do this"?
I was going to be a firefighter, so I was taking fire tech courses. And when you start doing guitar research during the lecture of your firefighting courses, it's probably time to change directions.
Yeah. Well, and you also chose to get into one of the most highly impacted fields in California, period. Yeah.
Yep.
Interesting. So then you said, all right, well, I'm going to change the course here.
Yeah, I felt guitars, and then my dad's like, well, you can't just start doing it. You need something. So I was like, okay, I'll learn engineering. Always fascinated by the way things work. And so I started doing that. Not a fan of calculus.
Yeah.
So that was a turning point from engineering. And then the other thought was, okay, let's go to school for business. By the time you make a third direction change, I'm like, I really don't know if formal college is for me. I learned better hands-on, doing things, challenging myself.
Right.
So at that point, I said, hey, Dad, I'm going to Luthier School in Michigan, Gallup School, Lutherie. And I went there and actually got a certificate in guitar building and repair.
That's awesome.
And then even predating that, I went to the East Coast. So what was this, 2013? I worked with two luthiers. I built a flat top acoustic guitar with Jay Lichty of Lichty Guitars in North Carolina. And then I built an arch top acoustic with American Arch Top and Dale Unger in Nazareth, Pennsylvania, near the Martin factory.
Cool.
You still have
So I figured, being so young, yes, I do.
Nice.
I still play them. Yeah. But yeah, I figured being so young, I needed some level of credibility. So I sought out education from a different means other than, normal 4-year college and stuff like that. So that's kind of how I went about it.
I don't think a lot of people have the self-realization to just kind of go with that, not just chasing a hobby, but as early as you did, say, nope, this is a thing. Let's do this. I think what we find is a lot of people do it on the side, and they go, oh, hey, actually, this is working. And then they just stumble into, an awesome thing. But to have the wherewithal to say,
totally.
And that's huge pressure to say, I'm not going to do what the status quo is doing. I'm going to do something different. Going about it the right way that's a good idea.
Every other day, this is Jared. I know.
Who is this?
Hey, Jared.
This is Jared. Every other day, I always look back and I say, man, if I would have just got into pickups right after I got out of the service, I would be possibly in a different spot. I started doing pickups about 10 years after I got out of the service. So,
but you live a life.
Give me 10 more years of what I'm doing now. I believe I'd be a lot bigger than
you could do it blindfolded then.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Interesting.
Feel free to take all that out.
I'll use the edit machine, or maybe not. Anyways, back to you, Chad.
No, don't use the edit machine.
No, I won't. I'll leave that in there. Jared's a big part. We'll do that. Okay, so when you started when you said, all right, I'm doing this, did you really know what your particular bend was as far as style, design? Because that's a big challenge for everybody who's getting into luthier and pedals and amps. A lot's been done. So how do you find your own voice?
I think a lot of it's just repetition. You just got to start making stuff. You build something and then you kind of review it and say, oh, I would change that. Or, we pull influences from everything, the automotive world, modern furniture, the guitar world itself, and just mix it. I would say in some regards, I'm not as much of a visionary, but I'm more of a trial and error guy. I'll keep pushing and trying and, keep grabbing towards stuff that makes sense for what I'm doing and kind of define my voice through that and find the voice within myself by trial and error. So that's kind of how I go about it.
I guess we can tell some of what your major influences are. For those of you who can't see, I think you tend to favor the offset style guitars with a mix of I guess, body dimension, but predominantly in the offset realm.
Yeah. One
of the hardest things to do in a unique way, as we've heard from so many luthiers before, is getting your headstock. How challenging is that for you?
It was kind of a building block effect. I wanted something simple, something that could be timeless. And I started with a simple flat Fender style headstock with the rough outline shape that we have currently. And then as time progressed, I just started adding in the cutaway, and it seemed to make sense. Again, the whole thing is you want to create something that's timeless enough to look good today, but also still want to be played tomorrow. And I think the Strat and the Tele are two great guitars that do that. So kind of pulling from some of the things that Fender did well and a lot of the other companies, and then making it your own. Sure. Keep it simple.
When you're going about some of finding those variations, did you hit a point where you're like, okay, I'm starting to do things that I've seen, or did you know that there was something that you were chasing the whole way? I
think they're rough ideas in my head of what I wanted, but I didn't have a clear vision of exactly what I want or where I was going to take the style and the lines of the guitars and the overall feel of them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you're drawing an inspiration. We can definitely see that in there. They look familiar, but they're fresh. I think you have...
That's really funny. I've said those exact words to countless people. I wanted to do something familiar, yet unique, and keep it simple.
To a certain degree, I think that's what a majority of people are trying to do. Some hit it on the head and some don't. Are they semi-hollow or like...
So the way we've got it lined up right now is we've got the Voyager model, which is your jazz master feeling guitar. And then we have our Catalina model, which I would call a cross between an ES339 and I don't know, the horns of our Voyager as well.
Yeah.
So the Voyager comes as Voyager Standard, which is solid body, or Voyager Deluxe, which is semi-hollow.
Right.
Catalina was originally designed to just be semi-hollow, but we've just got our first request for a solid body Catalina, and we've built that, and that's in the works of getting completed. And we actually really dig the solid body Catalina. So
yeah, I bet that would look really great.
Yeah. So the way our order form and the way we process orders is those are the templates. You got those 4 templates, being the standard Voyager Deluxe, Catalina Standard, and Catalina Deluxe. You go in, pick your pickups, pick your hardware, color, and then binding options and stuff like that, and kind of build off of them from there. So at this point, we don't have any standard guitars.
That is a nice feature that you have on the site, being able to kind of like, put it together right there. Fortunately for you, you've got 2 major body styles, or I guess technically 4, but 2 main branches to go off of, and then make your own. And now, are you doing them all made to order, or are you building stock and then people can choose? Or
we have some stock built, so you can obviously go online to our website at reverb.com to find that, or a few of our retailers. We've got some out there, but mainly custom orders. It's a better sell when you build something catered to what the guys want, and that's the clientele we've developed. Some companies build more so spec guitars, that really great spec guitars that appeal to 95% of people, and it works for them. For us, it's more of custom.
What's the weirdest custom thing that you've gotten asked to do, or most difficult? Either one of those. We'll take either answer.
Asked or done.
Well, tell us both.
They're 2 different things. People ask all the time. I think the most interesting one I've had, a guy asked for a pink dog hair finish with black grain fill. So for those of you who don't know, dog hair is you spray a solid color and wipe in your grain filler into an open poured wood like mahogany or ash. And then the grain filler on top of the color creates the effect we call dog hair. So the guy was asking for pink dog hair, black grain fill, and then he wanted 3 P90s that were all kind of staggered like a bridge strap pickup.
That's weird.
And then to make and then he wanted it lefty too, which lefties aren't hard to do. It's just it's like you're just stacking it, and it was quite fun. He never ended up ordering, and he was from Australia, and I'm assuming it's because of import fees. But
oh geez,
that's too bad.
Yeah,
I know. I've always wanted a pink guitar.
That sounds like one of those times when you go to like Ruby Tuesdays, and you go through the salad bar and you just go, that looks good, that looks good, that looks good. And you go and eat it and you're like, this is awful. Why did I put cranberries on this? This is ranch dressing.
Yep, that's how I felt processing the order. And I kept trying to get the guy to change stuff. And he was like, no, this is what I want. I was like, yeah, no, we can't do the slant pickups, and they're not going to do what you want. So
some luthiers, what we found is that they kind of find the where their sweet spot is. Like Novo, for example, they got one body style, but they're making the most out of it, right?
Yeah.
And some people, like we just interviewed Walsh, and he's got he's all over the place. He's got all kinds of stuff. Where do you fit into that?
I would say in the middle. I think with Jennings Guitars, we want to keep it simple, but we want to appeal to, I wouldn't say everyone, because I don't think any company could do that, but more people than certain niches. Mm-hmm. We do plan to come up with some more body shapes. So we're started talking and roughly designing one, possibly at a more economical price point. That's all I'm going to say, because there's no definition for release on it.
Is it a 2-inch thick SG?
Oh no, it's a strap body.
I was actually going to make it 4-inch thick, but there we go.
Ouch.
You'll be able to break in a car with that.
As far as finishes go, are there any that you kind of tend to lean towards as favoring with your particular body or your particular design?
We started recently doing more satin finishes, satin on solid colors, satin on, natural grain finishes. And I never thought I would like satin so much. I'm like, no, why would you ever do satin? And then, sure enough, you've got 10 guitars hanging up in the office, and the one I keep going to is the satin one.
Interesting.
It just keeps saying like, play me. And I'm just like, why is it that satin is so enticing? Why do I like that? So it's fun to have that hanging up in the shop and kind of asking myself those questions. Mm-hmm. That and dog hair, we get a lot of requests to dog hair too.
It's kind of hot right now.
I like doing them.
Yeah.
Are you using satin lacquer or are you just bringing it down?
Satinizing them.
Satinizing them. Yes.
We are using flat clear coats right now on them. Right now, yes, we are using lacquer.
Okay.
But we're starting to mess around with some other finishes as well. And
you've got something that is, I'm guessing that this is polarizing to a degree for some guitar wanters. That no people that want guitars,
consumers,
whatever,
guitar wanties.
So you have the name of the guitar on some of your scratch plates. I've been listening to the dang.
I've been
listening to the guitar nerds a bit too much, maybe.
Pickguard.
That's what Jay Cross is. Scratch plates, whatever.
Scratch plate. Yeah.
Well, shout out to those guys. Fantastic podcast. I love them. Okay. Yeah, your pick guard, more accurately, more correctly. Your
Tell us about
guard.
your scratch plates.
My scratch plates.
Yeah, so as soon as I saw that, I thought, like, first thing that came to my head was Burns
Or Hoffman.
Burns guitars. Yeah.
Okay.
Where did that come from you?
We've been talking about where to put the model name on the instruments forever, and we've tried placing them on the headstock. Headstock gets too busy. Back of the headstock, that's weird and ambiguous. Literally, waterslide decal on the body deducts from the guitar itself. The way the guitars are designed, the only place it made sense was on the pickguard itself.
I think that's cool.
Yeah, up in that top corner, it fits.
Is it engraved
perfectly
into the guard, or is it a badge? Or
it is actually engraved.
Okay, cool.
So during the cutting process, there's a tool that goes ahead and cuts out the cavity for it.
Nice.
Tony, I would imagine that you as a pickguard builder are probably seeing an uptick in that right now. Am I guessing that correctly? I feel like I'm seeing a lot more of that on Instagram.
I mean, certain models, yes, but in certain, it's not something that I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, you mean you can't do it, or you don't do it?
I'm not equipped to do it properly.
I see. Okay.
And pickguard plastic is not very forgiving when it comes to lasers and things like that.
I know that's a pretty popular thing to do in the sort of like swing Cowboy Billy style of players. To get their names on the pick guards.
I mean, and I do Bigsby style, like inlaid guards.
Yeah,
but those are not the same thing.
Okay, gotcha.
You sure?
I gotcha. I feel
follow. You follow?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Like, what's the turnaround on your custom orders?
Shoot, custom orders right now, we're trying to keep them down to 2 months, but we're right around 3 right now. We got just a bunch of stuff in, and using lacquer, you got to let it sit for a while before you can blast and send out.
Oh,
too true. I'm not seeing a propensity of relicking on these, and that is something that I think of newer builders right now. You see a lot of relicking.
Yeah, you see a lot of that.
Is there where you stand on that?
Indifferent.
Okay.
I think certain companies lend themselves well to relicking, and I think some relic guitars actually sound great. I could see our guitars being reliced, but it's just not a vision I'm interested in marketing at this point.
Okay.
No, that's fair.
I've had 1 or 2 guys ask about it, but not enough to really invest interest in the actual process of relicking.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And what you build kind of dictates your clientele. So I'm assuming that a lot of those relic guys that are into more of that worn out look are going elsewhere,
Yeah, there's some builders out there that are nailing that. Here's a little hint to or a pointer to people that are looking to buy guitars. If you see somebody that doesn't make a lot of relic guitars, or maybe that's not their cup of tea, I'm not saying that like that probably sounds like I'm saying like a jerk or something. I'm sorry, but what I mean to say is, if you know that somebody is really good at doing one thing, asking them to do something that's not that may not be the best choice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
Each builder is different.
Yeah.
Some guys like the challenge. Some guys, we're pretty custom. At this point, I would outsource for relicking because I don't have the actual know-how to do it. I'm sure I could learn it relatively quick, but
chest freezer.
My interest is vested elsewhere.
So what's one of the hardest thing? What is the hardest thing about building the guitar, in your opinion? What?
Okay, I was going to say emotionally or physically.
Physically.
Hit them both.
Maybe both.
Yeah. It's your book.
Yeah. What is it?
I think let's break it into 2 categories: paint and manufacturing, for lack of better words, or crafting, if you want to call it. In the crafting of the guitar prior to paint, I would say binding is one of the most frustrating. We're doing old school route a channel, take plastic binding strips, bend it, glue it in place, and then flush it down or sand it flush and whatnot. Sand and scrape. So definitely takes a huge toll on your fingers. I'm sure there's easier ways to do it, but we haven't invested our energy out there. But man, your hands ache after that. Or like you pulled so many pieces of tape off that you feel like if I pull another piece of tape off my finger, the skin's coming with it. You just feel raw sometimes.
Yeah.
Other than that, frettings can be, it's not hard to do, but it can be
tiring.
Yeah, very fatiguing if you got to do a lot of necks. I've batched up to 10 necks before, and you're like, wow, that was a lot of work. That was a lot of work.
Yeah.
Especially when you got to hand cut them to size.
Tedious. That's extremely tedious work.
It's 240 or 220 frets. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And with 5 or 6 different sanding and polishing elements, and golly.
It's nuts, and everyone's got their own system, but that's really what makes a guitar.
And some companies don't do it at all.
Yeah,
we've got a few of those.
Oh man. Yeah. So that's some of the harder parts, physically in paint. Man, I think everyone's got a story of how debris is floating in the booth that you just cleaned and vacuumed out, and it lands on your guitar. There's always black on white and white on black.
Yeah.
It's difficult, and I spend a lot of time and energy trying to clean them up and making it the best that we can.
Do you offer a bug finish?
That's a good one. Go out in spring and just let it sit.
That would actually be legitimately. I'm just thinking that's actually kind of a fun idea. If you did that, that'd be like Everglades caster, where you just go hang it out on the tree, and then give it a couple more coats of sealer and just polish it out and just
some sugar on it.
Yeah, it'd be like
bugs.
They'd all just be encased in it.
They don't even need sugar.
I
There's
love
something
that
about
idea.
lacquer.
Oh yeah,
that they're just
it's sweet smelling.
I guess that's what it is.
Yep.
And they are drawn to it like a moth to a flame.
Or if you live,
it's crazy.
If you're a builder in Minnesota, just make it a skeeto caster. And that'd be
just go outside and dance in circles and pick them all up.
Yeah, just run around run around the guitar. They'll come.
That's right.
Oh
Cool,
gosh.
man. Well, I really appreciate you just sharing out all your info and learning about your story and how you got started and everything. You make a pretty fine instrument, and
thank you.
I'm personally gravitating towards the Voyager white with the black pickguard and the black covered P90s.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah.
I love that guitar.
Kind of like that a lot.
That one's kind of sitting next to the Benson right now as my daily player.
Aha. Jared?
Well, gentlemen, it's that time for Would You Rather?
Ooh.
That's right. Would you rather time.
Don't encourage
This will be fun.
please.
This week's Would You Rather. So, you walk into a guitar shop, it is closing down. There's only 2 guitars left.
Oh, only 2?
Only 2 left that you can choose from, and they're heavily discounted, and you have to walk out with one. That's the rule of this Would You Rather. You
Breathe, Jared.
Yeah, hey, man, I'm really excited about this.
He's like geeked up about it.
Well, he's also he's horizontal right now. He's literally reclined so far that you're almost
I had a massage
horizontal.
today, by the way, so I got to kind of let it.
Okay.
The first guitar you come upon is a green burst. It's a Les Paul. It's a green burst.
Ooh.
Flame top.
Ooh.
Or the next one is.
Just threw up in my mouth a little bit, I think.
The next one is a purple flame top burst.
I for
Les
sure
Paul.
just threw up in my
I
mouth.
definitely want both. I want both.
Okay.
Those are the
I'm
choices.
definitely going with green Les Paul burst.
Oh,
Green
jumped
Les
in
Paul
right
burst.
in there.
All right. So
Okay.
and now
Explain your choice, sweet
Yes.
papa.
I don't know. Purple has never stood out much. I don't know. Never cared for purple that much.
Love
At least
purple.
hanging on my shoulder. Green. I used to ride Kawasaki motorcycles, so I am a fan of green to some degree.
There
So
you
I
go.
can appreciate
Like
that.
Incredible Hulk. Huh?
done. Tony.
I want both.
Well, you can't
No.
have
I want both.
You
It's
can't
Would
have
You Rather. You got to choose one or the other.
Oh gosh. Oh, so it goes from green to yellow. Is that what you're saying? And from purple to yellow?
No, they're just.
It's green with like black burst. What kind of burst is this?
Yeah, it goes from light green to dark green, or vice versa. It goes from dark green on the outside, to light green in the middle.
Okay.
Ew.
And the same.
Maybe I changed my mind.
Yeah.
It goes from like a forest green
I was
to
picturing
a lime.
I can picture that. I'm going to go with purple.
I might take the purple.
It's too late. You've already made your choice.
Hang on.
Oh man, I didn't get a visual of it.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with purple.
Okay.
No, I think purple would be kind of cool. I don't think I've never owned a purple guitar. I've owned a couple of green guitars before.
Yeah.
But never a purple. So I'm going with purple.
Okay. Go, Jared.
Oh man. Well, I don't own a green guitar, and I don't want one.
No.
So I'm going with purple. I have a.
Jared, do you have a purple guitar?
I do. I have a.
Ooh.
I have a 19.
That sounded judgmental.
Ew.
I'm in love with it.
This interview is over.
I mean, ooh.
I like the looks of it. It's actually called Midnight Blue Mist, but it's actually, if you look at it, anybody would say it's purple. Mm-hmm. It's a Fender color. It's very rare. It came out in the late 80s, early 90s, and it came on a Strat Plus, and that's
Okay.
So it really does look tasteful. It's awesome. But yeah, so for that reason, I'll go purple.
All right.
Pretty much.
All right.
I do like the incredible.
Sweet.
On top, didn't you?
Yeah, it's got to be the worst of the two.
Todd?
That's a lot going on.
Rein this baby
I'm going green. I'm going green because I just couldn't purple. I don't
Thanks,
particularly
Todd.
hate
I appreciate
it. I do like a green burst with like a black. Like again, I'm thinking like I remember like the first burns.
Yeah.
Man, that
black
caught my eye.
green.
You know, and actually, just had Drew Walsh on, and he's got a really green burst with a gold pickguard and black edges. It looks pretty tight.
That would look good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going green. Me and Chad here will ride off on this Kawasaki's Into the Sunset.
I love
with
the
our green.
50-50.
Sweet.
That's great.
Hey, Chad, where can people find you on the internets?
Our website, JenningsGuitars.com. Next best place would be Instagram at Jennings Guitar Co. We do have a Facebook page and as well as a small YouTube channel that we're pushing to grow right now.
And Reverb.
That's where you can find us.
Yes.
And Reverb. I always forget about Reverb.
Yeah.
I feel like they're an extension to our website, even though they're not.
Yeah.
But yes, Reverb.com.
Excellent.
And we have a sale going on. All the listeners of Guitar Knobs, we're doing 10% off. So reach out to us saying that you heard us on Guitar Knobs, or punch in the code, one word, all lowercase, Guitar Knobs on Reverb.com.
Outstanding.
Brilliant.
That's
That
awesome.
is fantastic. Thank you. That is very, very generous. I love it when people want to do that. That's great.
Yeah.
And it gets your guitars in our listeners' hands, and you close the circle.
Yeah.
That's right.
I like it. Thank you very much. That's very generous of you. Thank you. Tony,
Yes.
where can people find you?
Well, of course, at pickguardian.com would be a nice place to start. You can also go over to one of my Instagram pages. It's Pick Guardian and the number 1. Also a little bit on Facebook, but whatever you need. Send me a cocktail napkin.
Tony goes to a lot of theater, by the way, everybody.
A cocktail napkin
Yes.
with a sketch of something you want.
Oh, that's what I did.
I've done that.
It worked.
Yours was a little more advanced.
You nailed
than
it.
I just gave him a guitar to use.
Yeah. Okay, so Jared, where can people find you?
Well, Jared at BrandonWoundPickups.com is my email. My website is BrandonWoundPickups.com. We build boutique pickups, vintage style pickups, aged vintage style pickups. And I'm starting to get into the funny, weird stuff that you don't see everywhere too. So give me a message and let's talk. See if I can fill your needs.
Yeah.
I'm also on Instagram.
Excellent. And anybody can drop me a line any old time they want, Todd@theguitarknobs.com, and we can have a chat. Tony, I think you got a few people we'd like to thank.
No, I don't want to do that.
All right, hand it to me. I'll do it.
No, of course we want to thank.
Yeah, nobody who wants to be on the stage.
But seriously. So at this point in the show, we like to thank our executive producers.
I love them.
You may be saying, well, what's an executive producer? Well, I guarantee you, if you go over to patreon.com/theguitarknobs,
That's right.
you can find out how you can become an executive producer or just at any level. And every bit helps.
Yep. And you're going to get something really cool no matter what level you're
We got T-shirts and knobs and picks and stickers and all kinds of stuff.
You'll have something to show for.
The creme de la creme would be the executive producer level. And Jared, in addition to all those wonderful prizes and gifts, what do they get?
They get their name read on the thing.
And the thing would be the podcast, which is what I'm going to do right now as Todd grows angrier and angrier.
Because you take so much time.
So without further ado,
This is when I go get popcorn.
get some popcorn. Without further ado,
Yes.
here are our executive producers.
Yeah.
Tom Barazin, Martin Cliff, David Wolfson, Matt Brammer, Carlos Mancha, Pete Marshall, Derek Fitzer, Robin Smith, John Daly, Oliver Gonzalez, Sean Chris Kearney, John Anglin, Robert Marfleet, Darren Gregory, Gary Goodman, Zach J. Wright, and Doug Christ. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
guys.
And to be clear, it's not that I don't want to hear anybody's name read. It's just I'm growing old while I'm doing it. So anyways, I appreciate you guys. Jared appreciates you guys. Tony appreciates you guys. We
do.
all appreciate you guys.
We do. Really.
Also, make sure you remember to check us out on Spotify. Help us grow over there. So even if you don't normally listen, give it a few listens and let's get our numbers up.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. And Chad, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your time. It was a pleasure talking with you, and much success to you and your company.
Thank you, guys. It's been a great pleasure talking and really just hanging out with you guys. So
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
We're hanging out.
Dudes talking about
And
just hanging out.
And thanks for the extra offer. I mean,
huge. Yeah,
all
thank
of
you
our,
so much.
our listeners will, I hope many take advantage of it.
Yeah, definitely take advantage of that. Go
Oh,
out
they
and get one
shall.
of those in your hand. Subscribe.
Subscribe.
There you go. He wants it. Well, he gets it.
I
Oh boy.
Okay, let's do this again.
Jeez.
That was weak.
Yeah, that was really weak.
Yeah.
Just give it
Let's
one
just
more
do it
shot.
again.
You
Let's
don't have
do it
to do the panning thing.
All right.
Just give us
got
the
those
business,
stereo
man.
Okay.
Let's clap ourselves back in and pretend that none of this happened.
Let's do it. None of it happened.
I want both.
Well, that's it for these knobs. Please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/theguitarknobs. Visit our website at theguitarknobs.com for all of our past episodes, 4 on the Floor blog, and other good stuff. You can connect with us on social too at our Facebook page and share your gear and stories on our Facebook group. Also, be sure to check out our Instagram at Guitar Knobs. Catch you next time.